So when we talk about interactions between genetics and environments, there's a study been done by Yuri Bronfenbrenner. He come up with the explanations based on ecological system models of human developments, which indicates that the interactions in the environments, the learning in the environments are actually in the circular motions, or he call it circular influence between persons and environments. So as you can see in the textbook, it's showing this kind of pictures where the influence is actually in the circular motions. So start with the micro. Micro is at the center, and moving a little bit farther is mesosystem, and then a bit farther exosystems, and a bit farther is macrosystem. So the largest influence may come from custom, law, values. The earliest influence is actually microsystem, is between families, and then moving school, neighbors, and mesosystem involve extended family, and sorry, micro families, and mesos here between extended family, exosystem, and increase to close to law, values, and custom. So this relates to the four level of systematics environmental influence in human development. So when we talk about circular motions of human development based on the relationship between person and environments by Yuri Bronfenbrenner, he come up with this kind of motions for systems: microsystem, mesosystem, exosystem, macrosystem. So microsystem is living person living environments, is close contacts or close contacts relationships, maybe between living environments, that's mean in the family and so on. Mesosystem is interactions between elements that is a bit far from the microsystem, includes school, employers, and neighbors. And exosystem is a bit outside from individual immediate contacts, that's mean outside individual family members, such as institutions in the community and so on. Macro is more fluid, so it's more outside of the living, is more is like far away from close contacts. Is include culture, values, habits, laws, social, and so on. This macro system is very powerful to regulate how individual or group would live. That means how we gonna live. This is actually we live based on this system. Okay, macro system is also come up with the explanation regarding lifespan developments. Micro explains that lifespan developments are actually influenced by more factors. So this based on the macro system, there are three broad factors that interacts to influence developments. First one is normative age graded influence. Second one is normative history graded influence, and the third one is non-normative influences. So normative age graded influences are actually referring to the biological and social changes that take place at certain age. So because we talk about human lifespans, we talk about the increase in age with the increase in the physical development, and also mental development, and also career development. So first we talk about normative age regarding the developments of biology and social that take place at certain age. So for example, at the young age, people tend to fall in love, that age graded. So at the beginning, when early age, for example, when we're baby, when we tend to have close relationship with the mother and father, and then we getting older, we tend to get married, for example. So those referring to the usual biological and social changes that take place at certain age. That's why it's called normative age, because at that age this kind of normal behavior take place at that certain age. For example, going to school at what age? Normally around 7 to to 19, what time when is the age that we reach puberty, when is the age that normally people get married, people having menopause, physical changes due to aging. So we could understand based on normative age happen based on the age or certain age based what happened based on the norm. So normative history is different from normative age. Normative age happens at certain age. Normative history happens because of historical events and trauma. That's why it says history, because it's happened due to historical events or trauma. For example, natural disaster can influence many or all people. At the moments we having COVID-19, we have to be in the house. So this is actually can become a history while we develop, we experience this thing, while we and where we increase in age, we experience this kind of problem. So this considered as historical or can be traumatic for certain people. This actually can influence their behavior later. Maybe later their behavior, they become more concerned about the hygiene. They always wear masks because they do not want to get infectious by kind of disease. So it's actually can influence people behavior because of historical events, because of the trauma they experience. Non-normative influence is referring to the events that happen to certain people only. So these things are normative age, normative history happen to many people. But this one, non-normative influence only to certain people only, not to all people, to people in different ways. So for example, it's happened to certain people but also in different way. So for example, first love, many people have experienced good first love, many people experience bad first love. So the experience is different. And first employment, for some people they have very bad first employments, very difficult to find job. Certain people are quite easy to find job. For example, certain people job loss and divorce can actually affect their behavior and also their mental and so on. This is why it said non-normative, because it's not referred to the norms. So these things happen. Normative age refer to the age that's the biological, the social changes at certain age. Normative history happen because of the historical event and trauma. This is not related to the norm, happen to different people, certain people at different ways. So domains, we move to the domains of human development. So there are few domains regarding human developments. Human developments involve growth and changes in physical, in cognitive, in psychosocial, and also in career. So there are four functionings domain of human functioning. First one, physical or biology, cognitive, physical and biology. Physical is different biology. Physical is like your physical, the outer part of your body. Biology, the inside part of your body. Cognitive is normally regarding the brain, the mind. Psychosocial regarding the psychology. Career development regarding the work that you will that you will work later, the jobs that you will work, because people need to find work. So it's also can be part, is actually part of the human domains of human development. So development and changes and integrations in all importance for effective functioning. So developments of all these physical, biology, cognitive, psychosocial, and career and changes and integrations in all domains important for effective functioning of human being. So people must have physical, cognitive abilities, emotional and social maturations to adjust to the pressure and responsibility of situations and demand from peers and group, because we are living in the society, we are living with other human beings. So we sometimes have to adjust our physical, our cognitive abilities, our emotions, our social maturity to deal with the pressure and responsibility of the situations and demand from our peers, from our group. So this is what that we have to adjust. So we as a human being or as an individual have to adjust to the pressure and responsibility that's come from the groups, from the peers. And the fifth career development that I mentioned, I didn't state it here, but you can see physical is number one domain, biology in number one, second domain, cognitive in the third domain, psychosocial is the fourth domain, and the fifth one is career development. Career development is the fifth domain of human functioning. So career development is very important. It's the fifth domain of human functioning because we live also, we work to live actually. So the majority of people, they work when they come to the certain age, so they need to work. So working actually important, could build on changes and growth in physical, cognitive and psychosocial domains. So this is also important for the human functioning, and lifespan's development of human being. Okay, first we start with the physical or biological developments of physical and biological domains. This referring to the biological process. So when we talk about physical, we talk about our physical features, biology, whatever happens inside our body, into our cardiovascular, into our blood streams, and so on. So this domain entails many biological processes such as sensory capacity. We study about our sensory capacities, that we have 5 senses and we have receptor on each of the sensory organs, and then we have motor response from the sensory or from the senses, receptors, and then the information being sent to the motor through muscular systems, through neurons. So, and also we study also respiratory functions and endocrine and so on. So this is actually related to the functionings of human being. This is part of the domain that relates to our functioning. And maturations, growth and aging also happens in biological process. This referring to the changes, maturations, growth and aging, so referring to the changes in individual body and related functions that result from genetics and environments, and these have impact on our lifestyle. So all these actually combinations of genetic and environments that gonna have impacts on our society, our style is depend on the factor that's gonna affect our lifestyle. For example, if we take drugs, it's gonna affect our lifestyle in negative way. If we exercise, is we eating, can affect us in the positive way. But it's depend. Some medicines is important for our for our healthy lifestyle. For example, if we have disease, of course we need to take medicines. But drugs here is not medicine. It's something that is regarding the drugs that can be that are not healthy to our lifestyle. So this is actually the I show you already this kind of pictures, this to show that maturations, growth and aging. Maturations, growth and aging, we are influenced by genetics and by environments. So move to second domain is cognitive domain, is referring to the progressive developments of thoughts, our mind, our mental processes. So because we talks about cognitive, we talks about basically the developments of our brains. So in our brains we have mental or thoughts processes and mental or thoughts ability and capacity to obtain, process, interpret, retrieve and use information. So in order to understand what happened to us, normally it's been done by the cognitions or by the brains. The brains involve the activities in the brain involve thinking process, mental process is related to our abilities to understand, to obtain, to process the informations, and this relate to the role of neurons. So it is important for the cognitive development to be based because cognitive development is based on the growth and maturations genetically determines, such as brains and other neuron is actually genetics. based on genetics, our genetics, and development of cognitive competency is also based on our genetics, but also influenced by the environment.